Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us on this evening's edition of Majority Caucus. We are live on your multi-TV, on your Joy News channel to be precise. My name is Ali Dawood, and I'll be your host for tonight's discussion. Tonight we'll be turning our attention to revisit an interesting program that the NDC started in 2012. It's called the Forum for Setting the Record Straight. 2008, and I'm proud to be part of that team. And but tonight we are going to tell you why most Ghanaians fell in love with that concept of setting the record straight. Many people were educated in terms of what the MPP was churning out, in terms of the consistent lies that they've been churning out, with the view of convincing people to toe their lines. We will revisit that concept. We will continue to expose the lies that has been told by the MPP in the run-up to the 2016 election. But it's intertwined with the discussion about the manifesto, the 2016 NDC manifesto. A lot of things have happened. Akufo-Addo has had the occasion to describe His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama as a danger to the society. But I think that the judgment would be most appropriately given or delivered if it's allowed to the viewers to make that determination between Akufo-Addo and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who you think pose as a danger to Ghana. One is preaching unity, one is preaching stability, one is preaching peace. Well, the other, you could see, I don't want to say instability, but the methodology that they have employed towards achieving the ultimate aim, which is to come to power, is nothing short of chaos and absolute anarchy. So when Akufo-Addo is given the platform, I think the least he could do is to inform Ghanaians of better and sound alternative policies based upon which people should vote for him. But he should resist, or he should decline the invitation. He should protect himself, deny himself the opportunity of resorting to name calling. The rest of the talk will be done by a very, very important guest in the studio tonight. His name is Honorable Fifi Kwete. He is the Minister for Transport. But tonight he's not here as a Minister for Transport, even though he's still the Minister. He's here as the Chairman for the Forum for Setting the Record Straight. It's very important that we watch this show, because you will be told that the MPP is nothing but a pack of lies. Thank you very much, and Honorable, for coming.
Thank you very much, my brother Ali, and I wish to send warm salutations to all your viewers across the country and beyond. Indeed.
I'm sure that your greetings are well received. Honorable, it's exactly about a year when you were last here on this same platform. We are back here, except that this time the dynamics have changed, but the forum still maintains its integrity. I know at the first edition in 2016, we saw the MPP diving for cover. I was hoping that somebody could mount a solid defense, but all I could hear is insult upon insult and name calling. And so I thought it wise that perhaps there's something in that first edition that didn't go down well with the MPP. So we ought to repeat to the viewership of Ghanaians. And so I am very happy that you are here. As the chairman, Honorable, just give us a hint of why the need to bring back the forum before we delve into the details of what happened about 2 weeks ago.
Thank you very much, Ali. And as you rightly pointed out, what the Forum for Setting Record Straight typically does is to literally bring together a crack team of our party's best and brightest into something you call a special force for the NDC.
Good.
And that special force effectively complement what the party as a whole is doing.
Okay.
So whereas, for example, President Mahama is busy on the campaign trail, Pakwesi Misata is busy on the campaign trail, the campaign coordination is on his trail, General Secretary and the rest are moving, the Forum for Record Straight stays right in Accra and takes on the critical issues that are pertinent to the campaign. And what we seek always to do is to let Ghanaians see the clear contrast between the NDC NDC that is as bright as day, and the NPP that's the embodiment of lies, darkness, doom. Well, that's really what we do. I mean, so from 2008, 2012, and 2016, really that is what the agenda is. We always want to let Ghanaians know the reality. We are not claiming perfection at all, no. We are humans, therefore we make mistakes, NDC.
Okay.
But listen, anytime, any day, the worst of NDC is actually the heaven in MPP. We are light years away from them in terms of competence, in terms of credibility, in terms of compassion, in terms of commitment to democracy, in terms of capacity to deliver change, in terms of taking Ghana where Ghana ought to go. NDC taking off from the rich leadership of Jerry Rawlings as a founder, the inspiring performance of Prof. Mills, and of course the absolutely sterling leadership of John Mahama. You cannot even begin to compare us with, especially if Akufo's MPP does not come, let alone the decrepit and totally desperate leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo. You can't even compare.
Absolutely. But Honorable, one would say that at the inception of this forum in 2008, the NDC was in opposition.
Sure.
And now you are in government. And is there still the need to do that? I mean, perhaps the dynamics have changed, so let's leave this business to the opposition parties.
I mean, that's a very good question. Is there a need? Yes, there's a need. You know, if we were having an opposition that is genuinely committed to what I call politics of truth, okay? An opposition that want to criticize, but not an opposition that decides that even when the thing is heaven, I would say is hell. When the thing is white, I would say is black. If we had that opposition that is responsible and ready to at least stand by the truth, there'll be no need for setting the record straight. We'll just be possibly straightening a few facts. But we are doing an opposition that absolutely, you know, they call it's worse than the Pharisees of old in the times of Jesus. I mean, they basically would. You can build heaven. All they see is hell. Like John Mahama, like President Mahama clearly says, these are what you call eternal cynics. They never see anything good. They never saw anything good in Kwame Nkrumah. They never saw anything good in Rawlings. They never saw anything good with Prof. Mills. They obviously don't see anything good in John Mahama. In fact, they don't see anything good with anybody who is good.
I see. Yeah. Interesting. So the first edition, and in 2016, that was somewhere last month.
Yes.
What did the forum focus on?
What we're doing this time is to focus on a few critical factors that are, or which we call values that are needed in taking Ghana to the next level. We believe that this agenda is to make Ghana a champion. Okay? And we believe that President Mahama as a candidate is the best candidate, and the NDC as a party is the best party to make Ghana a champion. So we are focusing on a few critical C's. The first C we dealt was competence. We wanted Ghana to know that, listen, when it comes to NDC and MPP, NDC is a real deal when it comes to competence. MPP is an embodiment of incompetence. We want to say that John Mahama as a candidate is absolutely the real deal and not perfect, but can take Ghana faster forward through competence rather than Akufo-Addo and with Bawumia and all the appendages that they follow. They basically are an embodiment of incompetence in many ways.
I have observed that the MPP is trying hard to get the tag of corruption attached to the personality of the person of the president.
Sure.
And to them, of course, they believe that their research claim that is what really infuriates Ghanaians. That is what annoys the electorate. That you've been entrusted with state resources and you have mismanaged it. And you could see Bawumia towing similar lines, shouting on rooftop, incompetence, incompetence, corruption. I'm sure the forum has taken care of this to do a comparative analysis.
The forum definitely, as you know, I mean, we leave no stone unturned. All the critical issues that are what you call in the very heart of the campaign, we are going to, and the good thing is that, you see, NDC, we have nothing to be afraid of. You know, it's like a boxer that is so well prepared. We can enter into the ring any day and demolish the MPP, technical knockout, to knock them out on every level. You know, oftentimes you hear them blabber around. I mean, you know, for all the period we're claiming, oh, NDC has not performed. We, through this forum, what we've done is to tell you that, listen, you cannot even begin to compare your record in 8 years to what we have achieved. On any level, on infrastructure, we don't even want to do a comparison. Taking macroeconomy, just take indicator by indicator, take inflation, inflation, take currency stability, take deficit, take them indicator by indicator. They are nowhere to be found. They can't compare with Jerry Rawlings' 8 years. They can't compare with the 8 years since 2009. So really, that's the point we are making. That listen, MPP, if you truly believe you have what it takes, let's match our record one after the other. You can't.
Boot for boot.
You can't.
Let me start with Agric.
Okay.
They accuse you of growing at 0.000 in one of the economic years.
Yeah, typically that's actually a combination of NPPs, what you call a pathological deception, and also their real incompetence.
Okay.
Because anyone with any average competence does know that the economy of Ghana in 2015 grew at 3.9%. Okay. And the figures are available at the Ghana Statistical Service, they're available at the Ministry of Finance, they're available at the Bank of Ghana. And anybody can check it. And anybody who does check also will know that agriculture grew at 2.5% in the year 2015.
Not the 0.001.
So obviously for any group to persist in talking about 0.04 means they are so desperate to lie. They actually are insulting the intelligence of the people of Ghana, and they actually are very incompetent people. So not only did agri grow by 2.5%, which actually, because if you look at an average growth of 3.9, meaning the general growth last year was not too strong, it could be far better, but we understand because growth is about returning again. Economies, just like life, go through cycles. So there are cycles where you are correcting, and those phases of correction, growth suffers a bit because you need to build stronger stability and stronger platform on which you can launch accelerated growth. And that's what we're expecting again starting from 2017. So 2015 was not one of the high growth, but Agric still scored 2.5%. And guess what? 2.5% was way ahead of the minus 1.7 negative growth that the MPP
they had a negative growth in Agric.
In the history of Ghana from 1993 to the year 2016 as we are, no government has ever scored a negative growth in a year. MPP scored it in the year 2007. Now, so to hear these people who oversaw Agric growth to the point of minus 1.7, they actually dare to point fingers at us. Tells you that oftentimes MPP's problem, you wonder which is worse, their incompetence and their lack of credibility. It's almost like a close shave. It's almost like two very
competing for theft.
So I think it's a combination of monumental incompetence and pathological deception of the people of Ghana.
Honorable, they said your government, the NDC government, had the benefit of oil, and yet there appears to be stagnation in terms of the economic growth. It gives reducing, in their opinion. To what extent are this factual?
Yeah, then again, they don't even check their facts well, because through this conference, what we did was to take non-oil growth.
Okay.
And we took MPP 8 years without oil, and we took the NDC 8 years and took only the non-oil.
Okay.
And we established that when it comes to non-oil growth, NDC, our average is 6.3, MPP's average is about 5.6. So even non-oil growth, we have outperformed the NPP.
Okay.
So you can see, and this what is shocking is that you can have a whole political party that organizes a major press conference to be read by their so-called economic guru, and basic stuff such as this,
Dr. Baumia.
Basic stuff such as this, which is available, which you can actually research, basic research. I mean, all this research, I mean, we didn't need to have any crack group of any people because the facts are available. And they still don't know. And these are the people that they are shouting about, calling them economic gurus. And they are so hollow that they don't even know basic stuff such as that. So non-oil growth, NDC outperformed the NPP. 6.3% annual average against 5.6 annual average of the NPP in 8 years. Okay. Nominal GDP, which is MPP's own fabric. MPP brought it into our economic conversation. Before we never bothered about nominal GDP. The NPP started shouting, we have grown the economy 4 times. We have quadrupled the economy.
Yeah,
remember
that? Quadruple.
When you go through the nominal GDP movement, MPP's nominal GDP growth from 2001 to 2008 stands about 280. NDC from 2009 to now, if you look at nominal GDP growth, we're looking at 453%. That's almost twice what MPP achieved in terms of nominal GDP growth. So you wonder, what exactly have you outperformed us? When you were leaving the office in 2008, inflation was 18%. Throughout this period that we've been through all the difficulties from 2013 to 2016, 3 months ago, inflation has crossed that 18 only 5 months out of almost 4 years. We have remained under the 18% MPP left inflation. in spite of all the difficulties. Meanwhile, we are dealing with what's in the public sector wage of over 10 billion every year. NPP was dealing with 2.5 billion on an annual average, on an annual basis. We are dealing with 10 billion plus. In fact, this year, compensation package is going to be hitting, I think, 12.5 to 13 billion cedis. That's huge.
That's big.
In spite of that, we have managed to keep inflation below the 18% NPP left it in the year 2008. And yet you actually there point the finger at us. Look at, for example, the reserves of the country.
Yes.
NPP left the reserves of the country at $1.8 billion. As we talk now, the reserves are in the region of about, I think, 5.4, and we are actually pushing to even get far more, because now that we got the recent Eurobond come through, Cocoa bond syndication of almost $2 billion, that's absolutely going to even build the reserves more. So this is a country that actually is looking stronger and stronger. Deficit. NPP boasts about deficit, claims that NDC left a huge deficit in 2012. That's what they've been shouting about. If you go through those numbers well, you realize that what happened in 2012 was this. NDC had a target of 6%. At the end of the year, the deficit ended at 11.5. So it means we missed it by 5.5%.
Yes.
In the year 2008, NPP had a target of 4%. Do you know where they took it? They took it to 15% at the close of 2008. Meaning their deficit was 11 percentage points overrun.
That's too much. Too much.
Which is the highest in our history. Yet these are the people who actually point the finger at us. So you can see in every way, we are dealing with people who really combine incompetence and
in your view, what would you think would be the motivation for doing this from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Akufo-Addo?
Desperation for power.
But clearly,
desperation for power. That's really what, if you want to sum up the DNA of the NPP, it can sum up in one word. Anything for power.
I see.
That's who they are. They will do anything for power. They don't have a problem. If they have to give bombs in the hands of little children, as they did at the time of Kwame Nkrumah, in order to get power, they will. I mean, if they have to go and even fight against the independence of Ghana, they will. If they have to go against the 1992 constitution, they will. If they have to go against Get Fund, they will. If they have to protest against VAT, they will. That's who they are. If they have to protest against Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, they will. Anything NPP will, because they are simply desperate for power. What that means is simply this: they have no problem selling their soul if they have to get power through that, and that's really dangerous. Indeed. That's really dangerous.
Indeed, indeed. And the latest is that Akufo-Addo actually described the president as being a danger to society. As much as I found that statement as being despicable, how do you place this in the context of his own character and previous pronouncement that he's made?
No, the statement is not despicable. The statement is funny.
Okay.
It's comical. I mean, you understand? I mean, anybody who actually knows the two characters, you hear this, you want to laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and say, how is this possible? Danger? I mean, how is it possible that the President Mahama would rather be a danger when we are dealing with Nana Akufo-Addo? Nana Akufo-Addo, his own party people will tell you exactly what they think about him. I mean, people have said in this country that they cannot be safe under his presidency. And when Nana Akufo-Addo said this back in 2007 or 8, there, but people thought that was a joke. But how many people in his own party are able to sleep comfortably today? Very few. Within your own party, trouble. They say charity begins at home.
Indeed.
So Ghana's what waits for Ghana in the unlikely event of Nana Akufo-Addo becoming president is the foreshadow is what we are saying in what is happening in his own party, a party that's totally in shambles, where acid has become the order of the day, where beating anybody who disagrees is the order of the day, where you actually insult and demonize people simply because they challenge or they speak against Nana Akufo-Addo. This is the order of the day. I mean, I think when it comes to this particular issue of Nana Akufo-Addo and who represent the greater danger, it's so obvious that Nana Akufo-Addo absolutely is the biggest danger to Ghana's democracy.
Without a doubt. Honorable, the forum also stretched to look at infrastructure, I believe.
Yes, we did.
And indeed, in your comparative analysis, what did you come up with?
Our summary was that sometimes it's not good when a a heavyweight is in the same ring with a bantamweight or a featherweight. NDC, we are heavyweight when it comes to infrastructure.
Before you continue, this is important because Dr. Baumia kept reminding us that, you had so much influence in the country, so we need to see more.
Absolutely.
Even though earlier he claims nothing has been done, and then he shifted the goalposts.
Absolutely.
Now, you've inflated the cost of project. So we need to know the comparative analysis.
See, even to clarify that, that is one of the first things we totally, should I call it, knock out. Because you see, there again, they speak without even bothering to find the facts. Now, you actually go and say that NDC has achieved what we've achieved in infrastructure only because we have had far more revenue, far more resources, borrowing and all that. No, let's look at your record compared with the previous NDC. Because NDC was in power for 8 years and handed over for you for 8 years. So let's compare the two. In that period of the NDC 1 under Jerry Rawlings for 8 years, NDC had 11 times less revenue and grants than the NPP. And NDC had 4.1 times less what you call loans than the NPP in 8 years.
Okay.
But if you compare the record, whereas the previous NDC can boast about 3 regional hospitals built, NPP in 8 years cannot point to 1. Whereas the previous NDC can talk about at least 2 public universities, NPP in 8 years cannot point to 1. Whereas the previous NDC can point to almost 7 polytechnics that have been established under the previous NDC, NPP cannot point to 1. Whereas the previous NDC can actually make mention of
NDC under Jerry Rawlings.
I'm looking at the issue about who has revenue and therefore you must perform. To say that, listen, the fact that you have more revenue doesn't mean you can perform. You must be competent to perform.
Indeed.
So now we are performing because we are competent. You had more revenue than the previous NDC, yet NDC 1 performed better than you. NDC 1 can boast about what you call affordable houses, which actually are meant for workers of Ghana. And we can point to various what you call affordable houses in Adenta, in Sakumono, in Committee 3, in various regional capitals. NPP cannot in 8 years point to 1 completed affordable house. Not 1 completed. To say that, listen, this is it, we've completed it, they can't point to 1. And we can go on and on and on. NDC 1 can talk about 150 science resource centers that were established in Ghana. NPP cannot point to 1 science resource center in 8 years. I mean, if you're talking about electricity, NDC 1 can talk about taking electricity to every district capital in Ghana and send electricity to so many rural places in Ghana. We crossed the Brong-Ahafo region for the first time and took it all the way to the north under NDC 1. NPP, you can't talk about that. So in terms of issue of revenue, who has more revenue, NPP simply has no case. Now, they themselves admit that when it comes to infrastructure, they are nowhere to be compared with the last 8 years. And then the 4 under John Mahama. To be honest, the difference is so staggering, you don't even want to start. That's why I'm saying monkeys play by size.
Indeed.
So NDC people, I plead with you when it comes to infrastructure, don't even talk too much because it's like you are boasting. The truth, it's staggering. The difference is staggering. They can't compare in any way. Not in water infrastructure, not in road infrastructure. I heard them the last time making some funny remarks about constructing more roads than NDC.
Yes.
I'm like, what a joke.
I don't know how they came by that calculation.
In 8 years of the NPP, the total amount they devoted to cocoa roads was not more than 3 million Ghana cedis in 8 years. If you think about cocoa roads alone, the amount of money that we are devoting, if you look at the amount, it's so staggering you don't even want to start. Not to talk about other roads that we are building left, right, and center, and the asphalting that is happening overnight. How can this party even have the audacity to even want to compare themselves to what we are achieving under road infrastructure? I've not finished. If I go into electrification, I'll go into energy.
You may.
If I go into transport, in terms of what we are doing to the port and harbors of this country, it's going to become the biggest port in the whole of West Africa.
I've seen the Ayalolo bus.
Absolutely. It's incredible the things that are going on under the NDC. As we are talking to you now, NDC has taken us to the level, I'm talking about President John Mahama, has taken us to the level where our organization are no more needing even government of Ghana to borrow anymore. They have become so strong, so viable. So Ghana Port and Harbour is able to have a partnership that leverages $1.5 billion without needing government of Ghana as a guarantee, nothing.
They borrow on their own.
On their own. Ghana Airport, $400 million. They leverage it on their own balance sheet without needing government of Ghana. Ghana Gas Company is leveraging $500 million to build a 290-kilometer onshore pipeline from Etuabo all the way to Tema without any government guarantee. Even Metro Mass, and the NPP was on its knees, literally collapsing, has actually risen to the level where on their own they are also using their balance sheet to leverage facility to bring more bars and a place for spare parts and so on. So this is a government that is absolutely transforming Ghana, and it takes people willing to see. But you know, even Jesus' time, there were people who closed their eyes. No matter what Jesus did, they saw nothing but negativity. These are the people we have in the NPP today. I mean, they are what you call the Pharisees of old. No matter what you do, even when you bring Muhammad and Jesus combined together to come and preach the gospel of what is happening, they say we have not seen it. That's what
that's the Masheda group. but Honorable, like I indicated earlier, you could see about governance, the governance style. They talk so much about transparency. I don't know if the forum captured it.
Yeah. What we are doing in the forum is to basically take the themes one after the other. We'll be coming to all those ones. We started first with the economy generally, and then the whole competent management of Ghana's resources. Now, one thing we need to also stress is that you notice that, for example, they've made a lot of noise about competence, a lot of noise about competence. What we did was to basically catalog a little bit what really incompetence is. Because see, when you call President Mahama incompetent, and you call the NDC incompetent, it means that you don't really know the definition of competence. So we say, MPP, let's help you to know exactly what competence is. So we say, listen, incompetence is when the whole government gets scammed by a phantom ghost company called IFC. And they went chasing $1 billion facility into a hairdressing salon. That is the definition of incompetence. Incompetence is when you have a flag bearer of a party that is talking about, I'm coming to transform Ghana. And he was MP for 12 years.
Yes.
12 years. Member in cabinet for 7 years. And he cannot even deliver basic potable water to his constituency. Yes, the man says he's coming to transform Ghana. Transform Ghana, charity begins at home. Basic potable water you couldn't deliver in 12 long years and 7 years as a member of cabinet. I mean, how on earth do you transform Ghana? That's incompetence. Incompetence is when you have a running mate. I'm talking to Dr. Baum.
Yes.
Who goes about promising to everybody that he's coming to remove taxes on pensions without even bothering to know that there are no taxes on pensions.
Already, the constitution doesn't allow that.
So it tells you that monumental incompetence. And this is a gentleman who is going about incompetent John Mahama. Do you even know the meaning of competence? Do you know the meaning of competence? You go about promising to remove taxes on things that don't have tax. The same gentleman, in the Supreme Court, was asked, so if there is the need to take one between an amount written in words on a check and the figure written on the check, which one will you go for? He said you go for the figure. Something that every elementary banker knows, that when there is a difference, you have to choose between amounts written in words and the figure. You go for the amount written in words because that is far more reliable.
Exactly.
Because the figure 1 can look like 4.
Exactly.
4 can look like 7.
But for
basic. The man didn't have a clue.
Maybe
and this man calls himself a competent man and is accusing us of being incompetent. I mean, you see, the thing about NPP is this. Is a typical case of the black pot daring to point a finger at a kettle. That's really who they are. That's why I keep calling them by their name. They're Pharisees. Pharisees, because you see, like Jesus described them, they are like whitewashed graves. They look very nice, neat on the outside, but when you open them up, it's a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely. And the issue about personal honesty, I'm talking about Baumia. In a series of lectures as to what even constitute the variables that he used to calculate certain indices of the economy appears problematic to me. I'm sure that the forum took account of that.
The next conference, which actually was supposed to be today.
Yes, I know.
But which, in consultation, the party leadership, we are doing on Tuesday, we'll be dealing extensively with what I call the classic catalog of lies of the NPP. Because when it comes to lying, distortion, NPP absolutely cannot be matched. There is no party in Ghana's history that can compare to the NPP when it comes to lying and distortion. And talking about lies, the thing about NPP typically is this: when you hit them hard with the truth, because they cannot respond to your truth, what they do is to resort to lying. So typically, you know what they've done? They can attack the message we brought, so they attack the messenger. So what's the attack of the messenger? Oh, this messenger is a liar. He said Kufuor sold all the gold reserves in Ghana. Any average mind, any basic competent mind knows that there's a difference between a publication by a newspaper and a declaration by an individual. Okay. So, for example, we are in multimedia. Multimedia, the owner of multimedia, or if you call it the CEO of multimedia, is called Kwesi Chum. Now, if multimedia makes an error, it's not the same as Kwesi Chum
making an error.
CNN makes errors. Media houses make errors.
Many times.
You have the Joy FM, multimedia, they make errors. So you don't. Nana Akufo-Addo for many years published a statement, and the statement has made many errors. Have you ever heard anybody say Nana Akufo-Addo lied because statement made an error? But you see, that's how desperate they are. They are trying hard to find something to say that I'm a liar. They can't find any.
That's when you were the editor for
the Lens newspaper.
The Lens
newspaper. And so desperately, because they don't have anything. Oh, you lie because the paper published. But the paper published, newspapers get it wrong, and the paper got it wrong and made an apology for what it got wrong.
I remember at the voting you explained to the committee.
That's not the first time a newspaper or a media house will make an error. But that's how desperate they are. They can't get anything on me, so therefore they go on. Oh, go by. It's a lie. I never said anything like that. I've never said it on any platform. I dare anyone to mention one platform where I, Fifi Kwete, ever said that never happened.
What I've always preached anytime they raise this allegation is that they can go to Parliament or GTV and request for the footage at your vetting.
It's even on,
yes,
it's
on
online.
YouTube. They should go and check.
But you know, recently what they did, they went to pick a portion of that, and as usual, because they are such desperate liars, they cut part of it in order to deceive the public. But listen, I mean, honorable viewers, it's available online. You can go and hear all the words, and you'll know that it was never something that I said. It was actually a newspaper publication. The newspaper get it wrong, just as every other newspaper makes mistakes sometimes, and even top media houses like CNN, BBC, they sometimes get it wrong. Which
is very natural in human institutions.
Absolutely.
But Honorable, we back to the discussion. Let me just take some messages. This one says, Honorable Fifi Kwete is the real deal for Ghana and K2 South. GM wins, Fifi wins. This is from Sam Gobe. Agenda 120,000 is of course in K2 South. This is coming right from your constituency, Honorable. This one says, some of the messages, the shorthands are
too many.
This one says, tell Bawumia that we finish funeral right before we make account. Tell Bawumia to take his time. When he finishes the funeral on 7th December, he will get the time to do the accounting, to do the account again, as he did at the Supreme Court. GM Twaso. This is Enoch from, I can't mention the area. Okay. I'm coming. The shorthands are wonderful. So this one says, hello, I would like the Honorable to mention the site of the 42 New Day School. I don't think we are focusing on that, but of course we'll be serializing every week 20 of the community day secondary school locations and everything, region, so you will know that.
No, I assure them that we are not like the MPP.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we are for real.
Yes.
When we say it, it's the truth.
Is very important. Good evening. I know this one is doing well, but works they need to do. Okay, the shorthands. Okay, let me try. Okay, this one says, please tell Honorable Fifi Kwete to save his time and energy, because Bawumia knows very well that the so-called Anado has already lost the election. This is from Asante Hope Asante from Takwa. Yes, Asante, that's your message. Somebody wants to know the inflation rates when the MPP came to power in 2000 compared to how much they left in 2008, and then do a comparative analysis. This is from Yakubu Abdul Samed. He's a member of the MPP.
Okay.
Now he's a member of the MPP. I think those are the messages.
Okay, no problem.
He wants a comparative analysis of the MPP inflation.
I can help him a bit. I mean, what people need to appreciate is this. Inflation, you look at sometimes the end of year figure, and then you look at the average inflation. Oftentimes, average inflation is very, very reflective because it captures the totality of what happened within a year.
Okay.
End of year sometimes can be a little skewed.
Okay.
Average inflation in the very first year of the NPP was about 25%. Average inflation, 25%. Okay. 2 years on, in 2003, average inflation under the NPP went up to 27%. Which tells you that at the time NPP came, average inflation was low.
Yes.
In 2 years after they took over, they took it to a high of 27%. Oftentimes, you know what they do? They conveniently seek refuge in the end of year inflation, which was 40 in 2000, to lie that, oh, we performed very well. No, you took average inflation from 25% and took it to 27% in 2 years' time. But of course, these are the things that about me and the rest will never tell, because the truth hurts them. Okay. So they won't say. So they conveniently hide in little nitpicking, picks what is convenient for them and skew it to deceive people, because they can't tell the full picture, because the full picture will show that they are a non-performing political party.
Absolutely. But Honorable, would you say that the focus of this year's campaign should be more about the economy, or how beneficial it has been to people? Because often it's the case that, oh, you've had single digit, you have this, you have that, but we are not feeling it in our pocket. Anytime you hear such complaints, what should be the ultimate response to such comment?
You know, the single most important consideration in every election must always be how much trust can you place in the particular candidate and the party that is in power. It's the most important thing. Can Ghana trust the destiny of 27 millions into the hands of Nana Akufo-Addo? A man who cannot even manage a small political party. A man who 12 years an MP cannot boast about even potable water in his constituency. Has he got the track record to manage a country? That is the question. Can Ghana trust the leadership of the vast resources of our people into the hand of a man who obviously has shown such monumental incompetence, even as a leader of his party? Because, I may take it or leave it, President Kufuor was no saint. But President Kufuor handed the political party that was far more harmonious, far more united, and handed in the hand of the man who anything he touches turns to dust. As soon as he touches it, it turns to dust. So he takes the leadership of that party, and that party has never been the same. Why will you take this country that actually is on the cusp of transformation, where the whole world actually can see that this country, in spite of the difficulties we've been through over the last 3-4 years, this country is heading towards a place that absolutely will bring greater well-being to the people, greater opportunity for our young people, greater transformation to the economy? Why will you hand such a thriving, potentially strong nation in the hand of a man who everything he touches turns to dust? You want to bring what he's bringing is having in MPP onto Ghana as a whole? No, that's dangerous.
He's coming on the wind of change.
You know very well that's a joke. Because if truly he had the capacity to bring change, he should have brought change to his constituency. What change did he bring to his constituency? He got to his constituency for 12 years. What did he achieve? You can count it on your little finger. Some of us have been in parliament for 4 years, barely 4 years now. Okay. And to be honest with you, in terms of what infrastructural project we have tried to bring to our various constituency, even though we've not turned the constituency into paradise, but any time, any day, you can take 10 constituencies for the NDC over the last 4 years, the amount of effort that we've made in terms of development projects. I mean, not just in terms of electricity, that's been gone to various places, but in terms of irrigation dam, in terms of sea defense project, in terms of school project, including this huge community-day secondary school, and water infrastructure, health clinic infrastructure, effort that we made to support farmers and so on. You cannot compare what Nana Akufo-Addo has done in 12 years to even what it is that a few of us have been able to achieve in 4 years. You can't compare. And yet this man says you want to come and transform Ghana. You can't even transform Chebi. Your own hometown, you can't even bring transformation. So don't spare us the joke about transformation of Ghana.
Indeed. Let me take this interesting thing. You say Ghanaians are suffering. You wait for the. I don't. The short hands, the short hands. But the issue of trust should not be limited to Ole Akufo-Addo. I would argue.
No. Akufo-Addo absolutely symbolizes the party.
I think that he's.
To be honest with you, the party, the party itself,
okay,
is a party that absolutely has never inspired confidence, right from before independence. And I'm talking about the tradition.
Okay.
The same thing they did against Kwame Nkrumah, the same thing they did against Jerry Rawlings, the same thing they did against Prof. Mills is what they are doing now. It's a party that, as I told you, will do anything for power. And any group of people, whether they are individuals or collective, who are ready to do anything for power, those people are dangerous. You don't want to leave your nation in the hands of people who are too desperate. But when you are too desperate, what it means is that you would absolutely do anything. If you have to destroy people to get power, you will. That's why Nana Akufo-Addo goes by the terminology all die be die. Now, between Nana Akufo-Addo and his deputy and his vice, it's a close competition as to who is more desperate. I call the two of them the desperate duo. That's really who they are, the desperate duo. They are both extremely desperate. They are both extremely deceitful. They are both extremely discredited. So it's a combination of these. And of course, those these naturally will lead to doom. And so if you follow the desperation, the deceit, and the level of how much discredited they are, it can only bring Ghana into a doom. So Ghana is safe not to go with this doom and stay with the trusted and reliable John Dramani Mahama.
But Honorable, then you begin to wonder, I mean, why would people still, the support base is still there, whether or not they do not see in between the policies and programs that the MPP is preaching, that they are not achievable or neither are they sustainable. And that the chaotic nature that has engulfed the style of leadership of Akufo-Addo. You see, for instance, the chaos that began was on the backdrop of accountability. Paul Afoko from African Watch, we've been told, made an attempt to report certain strange accounts have been opened without the knowledge of the party executives and the signatories to the accounts. Monies are being deposited without their knowledge. And this is what has occasioned the serious chaos that we have seen in the MPP. This is what he's superintendent over. Can people see?
No, but you must understand that in life, there are people, as I told you earlier, even if Jesus comes down and tells them that the MPP is a bad deal, they will still stick by it. In fact, they will actually say it's not Jesus, it's the devil himself who is disguising himself as Jesus. It's normal. So it's like, that's what I said. I mean, their minds are set. And of course, what can you do? You can't do anything about it. So that, I mean, group would always be there. You understand? But what is important is to make sure that NDC continues to win the heart of at least 8 regions in this country. It's critical. And we continue to push hard in especially Eastern region. Because remember, a lot of people have forgotten. In 1992, the first election, in 1996, the second election, NDC actually won in Eastern region. Yes, we won 9 regions and NPP won 1. So Eastern region, even though NPP has really from 2000, the year 2000, I mean, won it consistently, you can see that we actually closing the gap more and more. So this year we'll make another push again in terms of increasing the number. Ashanti, I mean, there's no way in a million years NDC can win there. I mean, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, that's a fact. That's the stronghold of the MPP. So the MPP will continue to. But even in Ashanti, I mean, we perform.
1 million
we perform. We still perform. I mean, pushing to 30%. The
percentage has been very consistent upwards.
Close to 30% is no joke at all. So it tells you generally that as a party, we are a broad-based political party. We are very national. Every nook and cranny of Ghana, we are strong. I mean, we are not like a party that the whole of Volta region, the whole of Upper West region don't have 1 seat. I mean, and this party calls itself a new patriotic party. I mean, there's nothing patriotic about you.
It's a party that has
almost becoming
it doesn't have a national character, if you ask me.
You understand? So, I mean, to think that a party that is really winning 2 regions out of 10 wants to actually hold leadership. Listen, I'm saying that it's time we actually considered having a change in our constitution so that it becomes much more of the situation in the U.S. In the U.S., you must show strength across the states in order for you to win. I mean, how can you win 2 regions and you want to be president?
You must not govern 10 regions by winning 2 regions.
You must have strength in depth across various demographics. I mean, whether you go into what your people who are relatively poor or people who are well-to-do, you must have strength. In Ashanti, you must show strength. In Volta, you must show strength. In Northern region, you must show strength. In Western region, Central, you must show strength across the length and breadth of Ghana. Among the youth, you must show strength. You know, when it comes to the youth, there again,
Absolutely.
the difference is clear. The difference is really clear.
But let's be honest. This may not entirely be the reduction in terms of the number of regions that the MPP has won over the years. It's not entirely the character of the MPP, except for Akufo-Addo, because since he assumed the leadership of MPP, their fortune seems to be dwindling.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, Kufuor handed over about 6 regions to him.
Yeah, Kufuor won with 6 regions. Yes, Kufuor won with 6 regions. In fact, the truth is the MPP has never crossed 6 regions.
Okay,
we've never won below 8 regions.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime we win, minimum of 8. It tells you how strong we are. When they win, the maximum they can get is 6. But Akufo-Addo, for the first time in our history, in 2008 and 2012, won 2 regions and actually said he was the president. That again is a monumental incompetence. How can you win 2 regions out of 10 and claim and go to Supreme Court and we'll waste our time? 2 regions. We beat you in the first round. We beat you in 8 regions. We took majority in parliament. And you still are dreaming that you won the presidency? I'm telling you that we may have a much bigger problem than we think. The problem may not just be incompetence. It may be something else. I won't venture to tell what it may be.
Let me just whet your appetite with some few examples of their NPP, the 2000 manifesto. Yes, the 2000 manifesto. They said they were going to. This was at page 20 of their manifesto. They said they will be ensuring modernization and availability of urban housing. For instance, subject to the agreement of stakeholders, slums shall be replaced with apartment houses with modern conveniences which will be cost effective and environmentally friendly. Do you know what that means? I remember it is under thieves category that they promised the Zongo communities.
Sure.
That all the slums in the Zongos, the Mamubis, the new towns, it will be replaced with vertical and horizontal apartments. That's from Osafo. I did not see that.
To be honest with you, you asked me what do you think about MPPs when Nana Akufo-Addo said President Mahama was a danger. I told you that it's not. You use the word and I say no.
Despicable.
You say despicable and I say no. It's just comical. It's just amusing. Anytime you go into MPP's promises, you just want to have a good laugh. Because as I told you, this is a party that will say anything to get power. Listen, they would promise anything, but you must watch who is making the promise. How credible are they? And their credibility has always been very low. When they promise you heaven, forget about it. They can't deliver. We are not saying we are perfect. We've not done 100% of everything we've said. But you know the thing about us, at least we make the effort. When we say, for example, we are delivering affordable houses, we are seen to be making the effort. When we say we are taking energy, we are seen to be making the effort. When we say we are building road, we are actually making the effort. As for they can actually promise that they can build a railway line from here to Nigeria or from here to Senegal.
Yes,
and
for 8
years, they will set up a ministry in charge of railways. But you know what they actually do? They supervise the sale of the railway lines. And they go and take our precious. And we won't talk about debt at all, composition of debt, there's no time. For me to give you, but those who are watching, please follow us on Tuesday, 4 p.m. when we do the next Setting the Record Straight. We'll be giving a lot more detail of some of the absolutely shameful uses of Eurobond money that we have seen in our history. How people can actually go to collect precious money from abroad and bring it not just to pay salaries. They actually use some of it to pay judgment debt. They use some of it to pay for NYEP. And give some of them to Maslock. That's the extent to which this incompetent group of people took our country.
Absolutely. And thank you very much, Honorable, for making time to join us here. It's been an insightful discussion, if you ask me. We had in the studio Honorable Fifi Kweti, the Minister for Transport and the MP for Ketu South. But today, he's here as the chairman for the Forum for Setting the Record Straight. This is just the beginning. As and when editions are rolled out, we'll make sure we try to get him in the studio to shed more light on it. And for you, thanks for watching. Till then, inshallah, I'll be here next week, Wednesday. Bye-bye.